There were tears, there was humor, and there were some serious retorts to the Republicans. Day 3 of the Democratic National Convention saw Tim Walz being chosen as the vice presidential nominee, while an emotional Gus Walz, who's Tim's son, said ecstatically, "That's my dad." Walz himself told the crowd never underestimate a school teacher.
So there I was, a 40-something high school teacher with little kids, zero political experience, and no money, running in a deep red district. But you know what? Never underestimate a public school teacher. Never.
Now, coming out in support of the Democrat campaign were former President Bill Clinton and talk show host Oprah Winfrey. A seemingly trembling and old Bill Clinton joked about how he's younger than the 78-year-old Donald Trump, while also warning Democrats that they have already witnessed one election slip away when they thought it couldn't happen.
2 days ago, I turned 78, the oldest man in my family of 4 generations. And the only personal vanity I want to assert is I'm still younger than Donald Trump.
Now, Clinton also advised his party to never underestimate an adversary, pointing out that these people are really good at distracting us, referring obviously to the Republicans. Meanwhile, in a sharp retort to J.D. Vance, the Republican VP nominee, Oprah said, "When a house is on fire, we do not ask about people's race or religion, but do our best to save them, even if they were childless cat ladies." Earlier, remember, Vance had called women with no children as childless cat ladies.
We are not so different from our neighbors. When a house is on fire, we don't ask about the homeowner's race or religion. We don't wonder who their partner is or how they voted. No. We just try to do the best we can to save them. And if the place happens to belong to a childless cat lady, well, we try to get that cat out too.
Amid all of this, pro-Palestine protests outside the convention centers in Chicago continue, with thousands marching outside. 56 people have been arrested on day 3. On the last day of the DNC, of course, Kamala Harris is set to address after she's officially nominated for the president's post by the party. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is back to holding outdoor rallies since his assassination attempt, this time in a bulletproof glass podium. While addressing a North Carolina rally, he said the Democrats suffer from what he called Trump derangement syndrome.
They mentioned my name, I think, 271 times. They mentioned the economy like 12 times. They mentioned the border, maybe none. They don't talk about the border. Our great border czar doesn't talk about the border. But they mentioned me more than any other category. I'm now a category. They had me down today as a category. That's all they talk about. Trump. We've driven them crazy. They have Trump derangement syndrome.
All right, to talk more about this, I'm joined on the broadcast by Ray Locker. He's a journalist and author. And I'm also joined by Rabinder Sachdev, Indo-US policy expert. Good evening. Namaskar to both of you. Welcome to Mirror Now. Ray, let me start with you. Day 3 of the DNC, what stood out for you? There was Bill Clinton, there was Oprah. And personally, for me, I think it was great to see Oprah back, roaring as she does always. But for you, what stood out?
Clinton and Oprah, obviously huge people to have on the convention stage. And Tim Walz really kind of formally introduced himself to the nation in a major convention speech, probably the biggest speech he's ever given in his lifetime, maybe ever. I think all of those added up to a very successful night inside the hall. I mean, like Clinton said, we don't know what's going to happen in November. I thought the 2016 Democratic convention for Hillary Clinton went extremely well. And I thought this was enough to send her to victory that November. Obviously, it didn't happen. So the vibe inside the hall
Yeah.
can be totally different to what happens on election day.
You know, which is what, Ray, a lot of people are saying about opinion polls as well, that they can go either way. It's been some time since Kamala Harris has been leading, but don't go by what opinion polls suggest ahead of the elections.
Well, look, I would much rather be ahead in the polls than behind, because people come to you, they give you more money if they think you're going to win. So any candidate wants to be ahead. But any smart candidate knows, based on experience, that polls are only a snapshot of the time the poll was taken. They're not a predictor. And so if you think, oh, I've got it made and it's, August 22nd and the election is November 5th, you're an idiot. So you can't count on that as something that's going to happen. You have to run like you're 10 points behind, knowing that you're going to get the benefits of being ahead. I would much rather be Kamala Harris than Donald Trump right now, because I think she clearly has the momentum, and it's going to be hard to take that momentum away from her after tonight and in the next few days. So that's the challenge for the Trump campaign.
Okay. Rabinder Sachdeva, what really was the highlight for you? There is, of course, a lot of talk about Kamala Harris's roots, something that has been mentioned time and again during the Democratic National Convention as well. In fact, you had a Hindu priest reciting Sanskrit chants and prayers as the day 3 opened for the DNC. But do you see that helping Kamala Harris at all in her journey?
Thank you so much. I mean, the Hindu priest helping, I don't know how much. Yeah, obviously, but it's a testimony to the Democrat sense of an inclusive
I mean,
nation.
just
And
her
an,
Indian root.
yeah, I mean, definitely the Indian route would help her somewhat from the Indian American community. It would help her, certainly somewhat. But at the same time, there are definitely a percentage of Indian American folks who are going with Trump or the Republican campaign also. There's no know that. Broadly, you could say it's about 70% Indian Americans for the Democrats, maybe 25 or more, maybe towards the Republicans. The overall thing, I think, from the third day, the second day, and the first day is that, the Democrats are trying to create a perception and a vision which distinguishes them from Trump, MAGA. See, MAGA is Make America Great Again. That there was some past, in the past of America, where they want America to go. That's the ideal there, right? Now, what Kamala Harris campaign and the Democrats are trying to say and, project is that there is a future to which we would look at rather than look at the past. I think that's the main distinction they're trying to, bring about. And of course, along with it, this whole idea that, there is hope, there's joy. You've seen this word come up repeatedly in the last 2-3 days of the DNC. Joy, hope, and positivity. But yes, again, as Ray is very rightfully, what we are seeing is happening inside that convention hall. Inside that convention hall, of course, you're preaching to the choir. There is energy, there's an electric energy, no doubt. I mean, I'm just comparing, if it were Biden still, I doubt if the energy would have been like this, what it is now. So there is definitely a lot of energy in the Democrats. There is hope, and they think that they can, they can cross the bridge.
Yes.
But as also all of their leaders are reminding them, everyone who spoke, Bill Clinton, Obama, and everyone, Oprah, Michelle Obama, they've all said that we have work to do. It's not that, we'll be able to carry through. The fight is intense. And in this intense fight, of course, the percentage is always, shifting sands. The issue is the Trump campaign does have some very solid issues. Immigration is one, and economy is the other. On the Democrat side, amongst the various other issues, the one they have is abortion.
Let me take this to Ray Locker. You talked about immigration. Illegal immigration is perhaps the biggest challenge the Democrats face, that the Biden administration is facing for some time now. Ray, so far, as Rabindra Sachdeva said, there has been an attempt to differentiate from MAGA by the blues. But many observers also suggest that in the issue of illegal immigration, the Democrats are now portraying themselves as stern as the Republicans have been about immigration. The fact that Donald Trump has been calling Kamala Harris a border czar, as opposed to Biden saying that Kamala Harris is tough as nails on illegal immigration. Is there and has there been a shift in, that perception that the Democrats are now trying to build, that, this is what we stand for when it comes to illegal immigration, that we are not soft on illegal immigrants?
Definitely. I mean, you can read the polls as well as anybody else. Remember, they had an agreement on a very tough border bill that Trump sabotaged. And don't take my word, torpedoed it. Biden did an executive order a few months ago tightening up border restrictions, and we've seen numbers of illegal immigration go down. Now, how long that lasts, nobody knows. There are millions of desperate people around the world who see the United States as a beacon to them, and it's a place where they can live better lives. And that's probably not going to change. Even if Trump is reelected, people want to come here because they think it's a place where they can have a better life. But, illegal immigration definitely bothers some people. They see the complexion of the country changing, and it's always been that way. I mean, this country has had a problem with immigration since the 1800s. It's the Irish, it's the Italians. 100 years ago, we passed a very restrictive immigration law that banned the immigration from India. So, I mean, this is not a new thing in the United States. And I think the Democrats are finally in the polls getting to somewhat parity with the Republicans on this issue.
Ravinder Sachdev, do you think that there could be a long-term solution to this big challenge that both the Democrats and the Republicans, if they come to power, will face? Will they be able to resolve illegal immigration and this entire border issue soon?
That's a huge question and a challenge out there. But also, once again, as Ray mentioned, that yes, both parties did come pretty close to a comprehensive immigration bill in the past few months, which was not passed.
Yeah.
But the point is that even if that bill was passed, how much would it have been able to curtail the illegal immigration? Illegal immigration, I think, or with respect to America, will be an issue, a large issue, which will continue to definitely, impact the country economy. Quick point on immigration and Harris. See, Harris is trying to make the point that she's tough on crime, by the way, which is slightly different than the issue of immigration. What Trump is beating the Democrats is that, of course, illegal immigration, and also beating them on crime in the cities, which he blames, yes, partially on the illegal immigrants. What Harris and this convention has been trying to build up is that, Harris has been a prosecutor. Her record of, prosecuting, various drug mafia gangs and, sexual molesters, etc. So they're trying to build up Kamala at least as hard and tough on crime, if they cannot, on immigration.
Ray, the fact that Oprah Winfrey came out, and she's a huge star, not just in the United States, but across the world. And while she spoke around the same time, Donald Trump's team put out a letter that she had written to him long back. And I quote from that letter saying, I received the book excerpt, and I have to tell you, your comments made me a little weepy. Too bad not running for office. What a team. There was basically once a time when Oprah Winfrey had Donald Trump in her good books and they were good friends, but now she's at the Democratic National Convention offering her support to Kamala Harris. What would it and how would it impact, the Democratic campaign in this entire race? The fact that, you were once friends and now you're completely against that man. Would it at all have an impact?
No, not at all. Remember, Bill and Hillary Clinton went to Donald Trump's wedding to Melania in 2005. I mean, Donald Trump gave money to Hillary Clinton's campaign. So, I mean, these people have had relationships have gone back years. Donald Trump gave money to Kamala Harris when she ran for Attorney General of California. So these things wax and wane. I mean, Trump was a Democrat or an independent. He decided to be a Republican because he thought that was the easiest way to get nominated. I mean, if this changes one vote, I'd be absolutely shocked.
Okay. Ray, also let me, talk about economic policies, something that the Republicans have been attacking the Democrats on, and particularly Kamala Harris, and they say how she doesn't speak in detail about her economic vision, about her vision for the American economy to strengthen. And, at the rally at North Carolina, Trump hit out at Kamala Harris, saying that the Biden administration and Kamala Harris have lied about the job status and the number of jobs that they've created, which is about 8,18,000 jobs, and that is a lie. Uh, how does this really play out in the minds of voters? What do they think about this entire economic tussle, economic vision tussle that has been going on between the two parties?
That's for me, please.
Yes, Mr. Sachdev, you can go ahead.
Okay, sure. Thank you. If that's for me, there was a slight lag in the sound. Okay, yeah. I mean, certainly, see, that's a challenge for Kamala Harris. She has to kind of come out of the shadow of the Biden-Harris 4 years. Whatsoever may be the economy, the macroeconomy, the jobs and the numbers of jobs and all, etc. But yes, it is a fact that grocery bills are high in America. And that is an issue which is hurting the Democrats without doubt. So Kamala Harris has to smartly come out of that shadow, and that's what she's trying to break out from. The other thing where the Democrats are hitting at Trump in simple words is that his tariff, which he's posing, of 10% across the board on all imported goods across America, and even going up to 60% on Chinese imported goods. So the Democrats have, I think, come down to a number about $3,900 per person or per family that will impact the common voter. So I think the common voter, definitely the jury is out as to what the economic argument of the Democrats versus what Trump is saying. Of course, the thing with Trump is that his, the issue of the tax cut, which he could again bring about for the wealthy and trickle down economics. So I think on economics, the jury is out, but I would think that somehow the Democrats and Kamala Harris are on the back foot on the issue of economy and economics, especially the retail grocery prices.
Okay, Ray, do you resonate with that? Do you think the Democrats and the Blues have to work harder to make sure that they convince the American voter that they have an economic vision and that they will be able to strengthen the American economy further?
Yeah, I think they've had a perception problem during the 4 years of the Biden administration. I mean, when you look at the statistics, our economy is doing pretty well. I mean, inflation is lower than anywhere in the developed world. It's now, close to 2% a year, which it's taken a while to get there, but it's getting there. But people don't necessarily feel it. And sometimes, their feelings lag reality. And so there's definitely a perception issue that they have to challenge. As far as Trump talking about the 818,000 job adjustment in the figures, first of all, those happen all the time. They happened during the Trump administration. And remember in 2016, Trump said he didn't believe the unemployment statistics during the Obama administration. And then when he became president and the numbers looked good, all of a sudden he believed them. And his own press secretary at the time, Sean Spicer, said he didn't believe them before, but he believes them now. So he'll say anything at any time to get what he wants. It doesn't matter if he contradicts himself. He just says it anyways. And it plays into the worldview of people who think there's a deep state or the Democrats are hiding something or manipulating things. I mean, that's kind of the worldview of many of his supporters, and he knows that.
Okay. Before I wrap up, let me quickly ask you then, Ray. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has said that he's going to be addressing the country on Friday. What do we expect? Him pulling out of the race, him extending his support to Donald Trump? What is the likelihood?
My guess is he'll probably drop out and endorse Trump. Those are the indications that we're getting. But RFK Jr. is a total wild card. Remember, this is somebody whose own siblings have disavowed his candidacy. He's been all over the map. So it could be anything. He could say, oh, I've changed my mind, I'm going for it. But he's not on many state ballots, so that really limits his ability to affect the race. And if he endorses Trump, I think most people think he's going to do that anyway.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much to both of you, gentlemen,
you.
Ray Locker and Robindra Sachdev, for joining us tonight and sharing your perspective. Thank you very much.